And we're back. So this week, there's a lot of progress inside. We're excited to show you guys. They did finish the siding. They ended up putting a little trim piece on the side so that you couldn't see behind it. They boarded up this window. We're going to start in the basement apartment.
All them brick pavers.
I know. They've fashioned us some stairs right here with these brick pavers. So, we got our windows. So, windows went in. These are double hung wood windows, so they can open from the bottom and the top. And yeah, it lets a lot more light in than what it looked like when it was boarded up. We're kind of excited about how this space is coming together because between this and the half light door in the back and the 10-foot ceilings, like, you don't feel like you're in a basement down here so much, especially I think once we sheetrock a little bit down here. So yeah, that's pretty much the between this and the door and then the support beam, that's pretty much all we're doing in the apartment portion during this phase of the renovation. Most of this will be done once James and I move in, so that we can just walk down here and work and do a bunch of it ourselves instead of driving 45 minutes to do one or two things like we did today. So yeah, also we have a lot of architectural salvage stuff here, so if anybody wants anything, let me know. We got windows, fireplaces, yeah, a lot of stuff. Alright, so we're standing out on the pavers out of our side of the basement. I know that they put the door in the last time that you guys were here, but we'll go in and see. So they finished. I don't think that they had sheetrock up in the last video, did we?
I'm not sure.
Well, they finished sheetrocking everything, and they've started to mud. So they sheetrocked up here, framed in our light, and yeah. I'm gonna turn this off just so you guys can see. But
You can't see.
oh,
Yeah.
if you stand over here. So we're in the basement right now with no lights on, and you can see how much natural light that door lets in. But what's exciting is that these doors are still covered up. So we're really excited to get these doors uncovered, because once they're uncovered, this basement quite possibly is going to have more natural light than any other part of our house. So you can look up. They finished sheetrocking. We're actually really pleased with this because when they had to put the plumbing in for the master bathroom, it jutted the pipes down a lot more than what we were expecting. And I guess when they framed it in, we were worried that it was going to be too low. But they ended up stepping it down so that when you come off the steps right here, it's still pretty high. And then as you step down, it steps down. So this space is actually really nice. Washer and dryer is going to go here. I know that we've been over this before. And then this is just going to be like deep freezer, storage, like a clothes rack to hang drying clothes. Yeah. So we're gonna head upstairs. Alright guys, so we just went back and watched our last video just to be sure, but there was not sheetrock up when we shot this video. I mean, there was a little bit where they had replaced, but it was not up like this. So we're excited because this is gonna be the biggest transformation video yet to date. So come with me. it's actually looking like a house instead of a construction zone. So we're in our hallway right now. They finished this staircase. It looks beautiful. They kept the curve. That was one stipulation of our contractors. We had to keep the archway and the curve, which we would have never done anything else. But you can see it. It looks really good. Better than what I was expecting. It's apparently really hard to keep the curve in these older staircases because they no longer use plaster and everything's done with sheetrock. So before they mudded, like going around the curve, there were screws like every quarter of an inch to make sure that it stayed with the curve. Come with me in the living room. So this is our open living space. It looks great. It's starting like I know that there's a lot of junk that's kind of pushed up against bookcases, and we're not even gonna, I guess we'll go through there to look at the bathroom, but there's construction stuff everywhere, but a lot of the floor space has now been opened up because people are working in here and moving around as far as mutters and everything go. So you can really kind of get a feel for how big the space is gonna be. We actually marked out on the floor, like our furniture, this is our coffee table, built out of mud, drywall mud. But yeah, so you can come on in here. This, I don't even have words for it. It's great. This is gonna be our kitchen, and living room. I mean, I think that what's most exciting is that this is kind of what I had visualized in my head the whole time. James is more of a, I'll visualize it when I see it. He's more of a visual person where I'm a conceptual person, but this is what I had in my mind the whole time. So it's coming together, and yeah, James is starting to be able to see it, so that's exciting. So James is walking up the stairs so you can kind of get a feel for the whole thing. But yeah, I don't even have words. It just looks great. They're doing a great job. They've still got some mudding to do. They haven't done upstairs or in the basement yet, but they got a lot done yesterday. They just mudded yesterday. So we do have we didn't make as much progress out here as what we thought we were going to make because of the temperature. It needs to be at least 45 degrees to paint and stay that way. But last week we did end up painting this. So this is actually going to be the color of the rest of the exterior of the house. So we kept it uniform, and this is going to be the color of this back wall out here on the porch. But this is the color that our entire house is going to be. Finished priming the rest of the fireplace, and of course our window went in. Yeah, and this has become our catch-all room for all the junk. Oh, scored those off Facebook Marketplace. They came with the table and the footrests that are behind James. We wanted $100 for it, gave him 80. Score for 2 chairs, 2 footrests, and a coffee table. We also picked up the steel cable for the wire railing. 650 feet of it. The railing will have to wait until after we replace the screens. So
Bathroom?
upstairs. They see.
Sure. I think they have.
They framed in the doors.
Oh, okay.
Significantly warmer up here.
Oh yeah.
So bathroom, they did finish tiling. They're gonna wait to do the grout until the downstairs bathroom is done, and I think they're gonna come back and tile the bathroom downstairs and then grout everything together. But yeah, the whole bathroom is done. Really like this tile. They took, so these doorways at one point were opened up more when I guess the previous owner took the doors off and just opened up the case opening, because he actually had those bifold doors in. So we were trying to figure out what would be the best way to go about putting doors back in this space. We didn't know if it would be easier or cheaper just to go get new doors from like an architectural salvage place that were the same size as the opening, or if it would be better to use the doors that we had and bring the opening down. So we actually decided to bring the opening down and use the doors that we had that we found in the house. So they've started with this door. So I'm not sure which one Stan's using, but this one. So this door will get cleaned up and go in this opening. Yeah, and in case you were wondering, the stuff that you run into when you do a historic home or an older home in general, this is the wiring. So the wiring for the electric ran around the door frame and then was covered with the molding. So you can see we've got danger, and check with Stan about wiring before we start nailing anything in. Good thing they discovered that and not us, by nailing something in there and electrocuting ourselves. But apparently this was pretty common because it was really hard to repair plaster. So instead of pulling plaster off the walls to run wiring, they would just run it around the door frame. But yeah, so that'll get closed back up. We kept all the original trim James showed you in the corner, and on the other side, all the original trim for the doors is still here. So what they're gonna do is once they get the doors fitted, they will essentially just trim the bottoms of it so that it fits the smaller opening. Clawfoot tub being protected by chop cloth. This window is still not been done. We have a toilet in the hall. Yeah, that's another hard thing. We have no bathroom in this house right now, which for James apparently is not an issue, but for me it is.
Gotta be mobile.
So now you're kind of getting a down the steps view, like what you would be walking into. We did sand this door. I sanded this on Friday, so I know we stripped it beforehand, but I sanded this baby down. I've still got to do the trim work because that's got to be done by hand, but I don't know if you guys can see, but just the grain in this is beautiful. Like this little curve is natural, like the discoloration. But yeah, we're really excited about this door. That's gonna go walking to the basement. I think the last thing we have to show you guys is the master bathroom. They did sheetrock in there. I think everything in this house is being housed either in here or out on the porch.
Those are all the kitchen cabinets.
These are all the kitchen cabinets, yeah. And then master bath. So this has been finished. Like they put the rest of the sheetrock up along the wall and mudded. You can see our built-ins now. So the toilet's gonna go right here, built-ins above, and then this is our shower. So yeah. Starting to come together. We got a really high ceiling in here too. I think like, I don't know if front or back. This is probably a 12-foot ceiling, 11-foot ceiling, something over here. And then where James is standing, it's probably a 10-foot ceiling or so. So yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it, guys. Made a lot of progress this week. Not necessarily me and James, but everybody else that's working in the house. The weather's supposed to be nice next week, so hopefully on my off days on Wednesday and Thursday, and next weekend, James and I can knock out a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So we'll see you next week.